Backgrounds are literally the bane of every artist's existence. Like, I don't think I've ever met an artist who enjoys drawing backgrounds unless their whole shtick is that they draw landscapes. But most people honestly just want to draw their OCs, and I'm kind of like that. But I've started working on a big project lately, and I want it to be kind of, well put together and professional. So I've had to force myself to enjoy drawing backgrounds. So I'm gonna give you some tips on how to hopefully make the whole process easier. So my first tip is to try to incorporate backgrounds a lot more in your doodles. I started doing this about 4 years ago in first year of university. I used to really enjoy drawing like scenes from my everyday life, and I kind of had to get used to drawing them. Drawing them really simplified though, made the whole process a lot less scary. I really understand that like when you are just learning how to draw backgrounds or just learning how to draw environments, you want them to be perfect and you want them to be good enough and you want the perspective to be on point and everything to be great. But sometimes it helps to do something a lot more simple to take the pressure off. Eventually it's going to become a lot more natural. It's going to become like doodling your OCs. Now, depending on what kind of media you are creating, you can get away with doing relatively simplistic things and having those as a background. You don't need to add insane amounts of detail on every building that you draw and like every little crevice into the cement and whatever. It doesn't need to be photorealistic. In fact, I would argue the opposite. If you are making a comic and you want to have panels and you want the focus to be on the character, you can get away with just doing super simple couple lines for backgrounds, blurring it, and that's it. Or you can only really draw the part that they are interacting with, so like the chair that they are sitting on, the table that they're at, the things that they are holding, the window that's behind them, the tree that's on top of them. The second tip is honestly kind of art school, classical art, fine art kind of tip, but it really helped me a lot to paint landscapes. It helped me get used to seeing shapes and seeing how certain things overlap and how certain things look in perspective and how lighting will hit something. It also helps you know how to foreshorten things. So for example, if you have a character in the midground and then you have something in the foreground, it becomes a lot easier to work with that. Usually what I do to give my images more depth is that I just like blur what's in the foreground and my character is like still kind of the focal point. Also, painting landscapes is probably going to teach you a whole lot about composition. Although landscapes are not the thing that I draw the most, my characters live in a city, so I've had to draw a lot of buildings, streets, trees growing out of the sidewalk, bricks and more bricks, and cars and like maybe another tree somewhere. Also lots of apartments, houses, bedrooms, indoors kind of areas. For me, as I was developing my project and working on it and designing the environment that my characters live in, I realized how much it looks like my home country. Like, it's insane. It's a bit crazy how my subconscious did that, but oh well. The third thing that really helped me was to spend time actually designing the environments that my characters live in. And what I mean by this is to like really think about it. So let me give you an example since I cannot really put this into words. So this is Tammy's room, and as you can see, the walls seem to have a pretty good coat of paint on them. She's got some posters on the walls and some cute little fairy lights. She has a pink carpet that's fluffy and it has hearts on it. And ignore the bedside table that's just covered in empty beer cans and liquor bottles. What does this environment like really tell you about this character? First of all, I kind of wanted to make it look like she's lived there for quite some time and she's had time to paint the walls and decorate and put her own spin on things, so it looks more like her house. The second thing is that she's incredibly messy. There's a coffee cup that's like half spilled onto the floor. There's an empty bowl of soup, clothes everywhere, and like I was saying about the empty beer cans because she drinks insane amounts of alcohol. The way that everything in your house or your room or your environment is incredibly intentional and you put it there for a reason, your characters do the same. Or I guess they should do the same. You make them do it, so you should make them do the same. Now let's take a look at Ezra's apartment. So his apartment is quite empty. He doesn't really care about the paint falling off of the walls. He hasn't really decorated it. There's a pillow and a little blanket on the sofa because he has this visitor who crashes here pretty often, but that's about it. And I wanted to make this apartment look relatively, I don't know, empty, I guess. Not personal, because he's not going to be staying in this apartment for a long time, and he knows that, and he doesn't want to form any kind of emotional attachments to anything or anybody in this town, and also he doesn't want to waste his time decorating, so it's as plain and as simple as it gets. Whenever I'm stuck and I don't know what to draw in my character's environments, I just kind of look around me. Like, what's on my desk? There's a lamp, there's a phone, there's a candle, there's a box of highlighters, there's a jar of pens, a pair of scissors, a pair of headphones, a coaster. There's a computer, there's a drawing tablet. There is so much information about me as a person in the contents of my desk, and you should aim for the same thing with your characters. Now, granted, this story does take place in the 80s, so I've had to stay relatively, on point with the things that I do show in the background. I don't want to accidentally put a modern car or some kind of modern technology that doesn't exist in this timeline because, that's just probably going to be really funny to people. I don't know. What you're currently watching on screen is me drawing Ezra's office. And this is based on like 2 scenes that I drew previously where they are in said office, and I wanted to make it look as old and as dirty as possible. But you'll find that he decorates his office, but he doesn't decorate his home. Like, that's kind of weird. I made it so that like somebody literally took a bite out of that desk. Those blinds are incredibly dirty. There's like a coffee stain on the desk that won't leave. Tammy carved out like her initials or whatever into the wood. There's a pentagram somewhere there. I also added like one of those IBMs and a plant and a bunch of cracks in the wall. You get the idea. Honestly, whenever you are stuck and you don't know what to add to your character's environments, just add a plant. It's gonna bring everything together. Like, imagine this background without the plant. It would look so bad. I don't know why plants do that. Now, when you first start drawing backgrounds, the style that you draw them in is gonna be quite different from how you draw everything else, especially if you're like constantly using references, and it's a good thing to use references. At some point though, the more that you keep drawing and the more that you keep doing it from imagination and creating like environments that you haven't seen anywhere else, that might not exist anywhere else, the more stylized and cohesive with the rest of your art they're going to become. For my project also, it pays to draw backgrounds because I might spend 5 or 6 hours drawing one of these, but I will use it so many times over and over again. Like in this scene where I took the forest background and I blurred it so Ezra is like the character that's in focus, or this other scene where they're talking on the phone and again I took the bedroom background and the forest background, I blurred them and I changed the lighting. So if you make like a couple of backgrounds, you can keep using them and keep using them and keep using them, even if you are doing something like a comic. This only works though if you're gonna keep the perspective the same. So if you're gonna draw something from the bird's eye view or a worm's eye view or anything else where the perspective has to change, you're gonna have to redraw the background elements or the entire background. Lately I've been practicing drawing things that are more I kind of want them to be more focused on the environment and the scene and what's happening as a whole, as opposed to just a character. So I'll make like the characters really, really small and fill in the details everywhere else. Anyway, I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.